Now, I think, despite the chaos that's going on all around here, William is going to be hacking and slashing. I think Wendy, though, is going to try and get away. She is going to use an evade action. And to evade, you have to pick the person with the highest value in the top right corner there, which is going to be the priest. So we select him and try to evade. So resolve an evade check, confirm. Vanderbilt spits at your feet, the saliva bubbling and smoking when it hits the ground. If you okay, we need to do an observation check, and she rolls a fewer die when doing an observation check. And okay, that's 2 successes. If you pass, you know to hold your breath until you escape the cloud of fumes. So she holds her breath and gets onto this space here with her move actions. And she is going to interact with this, and let's try and stop the ritual. A ritual circle is carved into the ground and scattered with components. You attempt to retrieve the ritual components, but a malign energy protects them. Let's try and disrupt the ritual. Using your gut and scraps of knowledge you have gathered, you attempt to remove the items without triggering the defensive magic. You may discard any number of evidence to convert an equal number of clues into elder signs. Okay, well, she only has a unique evidence that she needs for her thing here, so hopefully she is going to be okay with this. So she gets to roll law, which is 3, but she rolls a fewer die when doing law, so she is definitely not the person to be doing this. She only rolls 2 dice. And she gets a success. Okay, so she gets 1 success. I have a feeling that's not going to be enough to stop the ritual. You remove several items successfully, but you trip up, causing the magic to lash out at you and burn your skin. Suffer a face-down damage. So she now has 3 face-down damage. And okay, that's still there, so I assume we haven't stopped that. William, he is going to try and evade into this space so he can try and stop these people getting in the way of Wendy's ritual stopping. He is going to try and evade into this space. And the person with the highest, it's anyone. So let's say the cultist. It's not the red one. Evade. Resolve an evade check. The cultist watches you, staff at the ready. Influence 3. And let's roll 3 dice. We can roll an additional dice as well. Not an additional, we can re-roll one. So we need 2 successes. Let's spend this clue token and flip that to a success. And we convince the cultist that our actions will save the both of us. And so we've fooled him there, and we can rush past him. The second action is going to be to attack that other cultist, I think. So the red cultist, let's attack with a bladed weapon. Your opponent catches your wrist. Your blade stopped mere inches from its flesh. You struggle to press the blade home. Strength check, 2 successes. And we have 2 successes there. If you pass, your enemy's defense gives way and your weapon bites deep. The monster suffers damage equal to your test result plus 1. So that's 3 damage, and that's enough to take out a cultist, which he is not the biggest threat out there, but that is 1 gone. And that is the end of the investigator phase, I believe. A smell leaps unbidden into your mind. This mythos event affects the investigator with the lowest will, which is Wendy. You attempt to decipher the spell. She takes a law check with only 2 dice again. And she gets 2 successes this time. If you pass, you realise casting it would be a terrible idea. And that's that. So then, oh no. The sound of a woman weeping drifts through the mansion halls and the air grows icy cold. The ashes strewn about the office stir and a ghostly figure rises from the shattered remains of the urn. Oh dear, that's consequences for me smashing that urn earlier. A spawn of ghost is indicated, then each investigator suffers 2 horror. So a ghost there in the library. Phasing, this monster can move through impassable borders and walls. Flickering and unreal, ghosts are spirits of the departed drifting through the world of the living. Okay, and then horror. For Wendy, that's 4 dice. And she needs 2 successes to negate that horror. She has 1 success, so she's going to take a horror. No additional effect, that's just face down. And William, he rolls 4 also. So he has negated all of that. Then, monsters. So the cultist with nothing on him moves towards the nearest investigator and attacks. That's going to be William. The cultist raises a staff and swings down at your head with a forceful sweeping motion. So that's agility, which he gets to roll 3 for, and he gets to roll an additional die because a monster is attacking him. So if you pass, you duck and narrowly dodge the blow. That's nothing. Okay, that's not worth re-rolling then. So the cultist's staff collides with your skull, suffer a face-down damage, and become stunned. Okay, stunned means that I cannot perform more than a single action during my turn. At the end of my turn, discard this card. That is a shame. Vanderbilt moves 2 spaces toward the nearest investigator. Well, it's going to stay right there with me then. The monster attacks. Vanderbilt comes in low and lifts you into the air. If you pass, you knee your foe in the face and drop... Oh, I keep reading the pass condition. So that's 3 dice. And I can re-roll 1. 2 successes. So you knee your foe in the face and drop to the ground with a thud. Suffer 1 face-down damage. Oh, me. Not him. I need him in the face. Okay, there's a face-down damage then. The deep one, without anything on him, moves 2 spaces towards the nearest investigator. Still hasn't found anyone yet. The green one is going to move to the nearest investigator. That's me. Growling and hissing, the deep one attacks with savage swipes of its webbed claws. So for 3 damage, strength plus 1 negates. So how much damage can we negate here with 5 dice? We negate 2 damage. We roll an additional die, actually. So let's roll that one. Nope, just 2. So we have 1 more. And you fall, become restrained, then discard this card. So it's not going to give us any lasting effect, but we are restrained and stunned, so we cannot move voluntarily and cannot do more than 1 action. But that's okay, because we don't need to move. We need to stop these monsters. So the deep one joins the party, and it's going to attack William. The deep one wraps its arms around you and squeezes with bone-crushing force. Strength check with 2 successes. So that's 5 dice. 2 successes needed. He gets 1 success. So if you fail, you cannot escape the beast's grasp, suffer 2 damage, and become restrained. So, first damage. Become dazed, then flip this card face down. So, he is dazed, restrained, and stunned. You cannot spend clues to convert dice results or perform additional puzzle steps. And the second damage, no additional effect, so he's got 4 damage out of 7, and he can't be restrained again. Okay, the ghost moves up to 1 space, so he's going to go there. And no investigators there. The spirit calls out, but there is no one to hear it. The spirit vanishes and reappears elsewhere. The ghost moves to the nearest space within range of an investigator. So to be in range, it's the space on it, because it doesn't work through doors. So we're going to just have to imagine these are all on this 1 space. So next round, that ghost is going to do some damage. So now horror check. Wendy needs to do a horror check because she can see all of this chaos. The ghost is the most terrifying thing for both of us. So Wendy's horror check. The spirit holds a small music box in its hand, twisting the key to the fullest extent. It lifts the lid and a haunting tune begins to play, each note the cry of a newborn child. So for 3 horror, Will negates. So she's going to roll 4 dice for Will. And that's 2 successes, 3 horror though. So she's going to take another horror. And minor shock again, just flip it face down. She has 4 more horror. If she's already insane, so if she gets 8 horror again, then she's going to die. And then I'm going to have to do a horror check against that thing. The spirit coughs and stumbles about. Someone open the door, it wheezes. Let me out. The spirit is slowly overtaken by fire, and you can feel your own flesh begin to grow hot. So a will check with 2 successes. He rolls 4 dice. He can't spend clues or anything. He fails that. If you fail, the fire becomes real. Oh dear. The fire has started. So this is going to be bad for me, but also bad for the monsters. So a fire has started in this room, and he suffers a face-down damage and a face-down horror. And that's the end of that mythos phase. So the investigator phase. So now there is a fire. So anyone in a space with fire doing an action that isn't move, they're going to take a face down damage. I can try and put the fire out, but I'm going to take the damage anyway, so I might as well leave the fire there to do some damage to all of these monsters. On the other hand, though, it is going to spread over here next, I think. So what will William do? He could attack and try and take out one of these things, or he could try and get rid of some of the damage that he suffered. He could get rid of 2 of that damage, but he's going to take a damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, he's just going to get wounded. He's not going to die. So let's attack. Bladed weapon. So he's going to take a face down damage because there's fire there. He's getting burned. And what's he going to attack? I think he'll attack the cultist because he might be able to take that out with a bladed weapon. So as you approach, your foe lashes out at you. You sidestep the strike and slash at the outstretched limb. So 3 dice for agility, and he needs 2 successes. He only gets 1, so doesn't do there. If you fail, the limb quickly snaps back out of reach. So that was his turn. Wendy is going to continue to try and stop this ritual. So disrupt the ritual for an action. So that's another law check. So she has 2 dice for that. So that's another success there. You remove several items successfully, suffer a face down damage again. Okay, and let's do that once more. So 2 more dice. That's 2 successes. Okay, carefully performing each step, you remove the components from the ritual circle. Almost immediately, some of the malign energy seems to fade from the air around you. You have put an end to the cult's vile scheme, gained the ritual component's unique item, and that's unique evidence. If I'd known, then I wouldn't have needed to trade that with her. Okay, then discard this interact token. Oh wow, the investigation is complete. If an investigator escapes the mansion with the ritual component's unique item, we win the game when the investigation is complete. Place an explore token as indicated. Oh, okay then, so it's not quite as easy as just find that and get out. So end the investigator phase, mythos phase. So the fire spreads out of control. We need to place fire in an adjacent space. Let's place the fire here because as long as Wendy is moving, then she's not going to suffer the damage for that. Through the dark, you see a pair of red eyes slowly moving towards you. Each investigator in a space containing darkness suffers 2 horror. Will negates, so 4 for Wendy. She doesn't negate anything and suffers 2 horror. So no additional effect, but that is 5, 6 face down horror now for her. And for me, I need to do it for me. And that's 2 negated for me, so I'm okay. The cultist is not going to move anything. He is on here. He is going to give me 2 face down damage. Agility negates. And I can't negate any of it, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 2 face down damage, 7, 8. You take all of the damage and then become wounded. I shouldn't have these status ailments anymore. So all of this goes away. And I am now wounded. I can't perform the move action more than once each round, and if I suffer that much damage again, I am eliminated. Vanderbilt moves up to 2 spaces. He's not going to move, so me. Vanderbilt chants and sways, invoking a dread and drowned god. There is something hypnotic in the sight, like waves on the ocean. Become dazed. Again. Then a complex pattern of waves and tides swirls towards you as if by magic. Suffer 3 face down damage. Law negates. So how much do we negate there? We negate 2 of it. So we're back up to 1 face down damage. The deep one is going to move over here. So this space is crazy with monsters. The deep one wraps its arms around you and squeezes with bone-crushing force. Strength check, 2 successes. That was only 3 dice. Okay, we had the successes anyway. I don't know why I did that. You managed to strike the creature in the throat before struggling free. The monster suffers a damage. And I am forgetting all of these monsters should be suffering fire damage. So what have we had so far? We've had Vanderbilt and the cultist. We need to add a damage to them. So he should have 2 damage now. I will remember that in a second. So the green one will attack. We need to do a observation check to 2 successes we need. We get 4 successes, wow. If you pass, you realise it's attempting to lure you in a crude trap. So he takes a damage from the fire. The deep one moves 2 spaces towards the nearest investigator. That's just me. He takes a damage. The deep one moves forward, scales glistening as it does, and hammers over you again and again with powerful fists. So another strength check. 2 successes. And I can reroll a die. Okay, that's okay. The ghost takes a damage from that fire, and he will attack. He vanishes from sight, but you can still feel its presence. Suddenly you hear a whispering in your ear. 2 successes on a will check. That's okay. I managed to shake off the unnerving feeling. And now we have to resolve a horror check against the ghost, I believe. So Wendy's horror check. Hungry Spirit demands your attention. So for 3 face down horror, influence negates. So that's 2 negates, and she becomes stunned. So 1 horror. Flip this card face down. She has 7 horror now. She might have to skip her next turn. Wow. And she can only do 1 action. And then I need to do 1. Spirit moans in horrible agony. We need to suffer 3 face down damage. So will negate. That's 4 dice. And that's 4 successes. Wow. Okay, and I don't become dazed then. And that's it for the Mythos phase. So I need to remember to add, everyone should have a damage. So let's just adjust those guys there. Okay, we are set up for the next investigator phase. And we're back. I believe we were at the start of this round. You'll have to forgive me if I'm wrong about a couple of things here. The battery in the camera ran out. Just had to have a big break, edited part 1 of the video, and here I am again. But I'm determined to escape this mansion, so let's do it. We will start with Wendy. So she is in trouble. Look at her damage here. If she takes another horror, she is dead. And she has the ritual components. So she needs to at least make it out of this room, I think. So she is going to do a move action, hopefully make it here where there isn't fire. And so she won't take damage because she's using the move action. And she needs to evade someone in there. So it will be the priest that she is evading. Vanderbilt leaps into the air, attempting to tackle you. So an agility check with 2 successes. 5 dice for Wendy. Let's hope she gets 2 successes here. That's 2, and some clue things. If you pass, you step to the side. So she has managed to dodge through there and make it to this landing, which doesn't put her in an amazing position, but a much better one than she was in. Okay, so William could try and evade check to get out of that square, or he could try and take some out, get some clue tokens, and then do some damage. Let's see how he gets on with his first attack. So he is going to attack this deep one here without a token that has 2 damage already. Well, actually, that's going to die. It's only got 3 health, so that's going to die in the Mythos phase because of the fire. But if he takes an action that isn't move, then he is going to take damage. Let's see, could he take something else out? He could definitely take this ghost seems quite nasty. Let's try and attack the ghost. So he'll attack the ghost. He has to take a face down damage because there is fire there. He is attacking with a bladed weapon. So holding the blade before you like a crucifix, you beg the apparition to depart. So influence +1, that's 4 dice. That's a nice way of handling attacking a ghost. I haven't seen a ghost before this playthrough. So let's see, he's got 3 successes, that's 3 damage to the ghost. And it is discarded. So where's he? There's the ghost gone. And William grabs a clue. And for his second action, he could take another damage to take something else out. I think let's attack one of these deep ones. So, with a bladed weapon, it is a observation check for 4. You advance slowly on your foe, taking careful note of its footing. So, 4 observation dice, we need 2 successes. And that's a success and a clue token. He could re-roll a die, but let's use the clue token. If you pass, you act as soon as you see the enemy's feet shift, your foe lunges toward to intercept you, but you dodge deftly aside, cutting a bloody gash along its arm and back. He suffers damage equal to the weapon's damage, plus your test result, which is 2 plus 2 is 4, and that's going to take him out as well. So that was the green one. and he gets a clue token for taking it out, so he's still got one. Where is the green deep one? There he is. So he is gone, and that's his 2 actions. Wendy only had 1, remember, because she was stunned, and that is it for the investigator's phase. So, should he have 1 more damage? I think he should have 1 more damage from attacking there, because the fire. So the fire spreads. I'm going to spread it to the other space in the attic so that it's not on Wendy there. Books, papers, and other objects suddenly swirl into the air. This affects everyone in the library. Well, there's no one in the library, so nothing there. The cultist. So at the start of his activation, he is standing in fire. He takes a damage. The cultist moves 2 spaces toward the nearest investigator and then attacks. So it's going to stay there and attack William. So the cultist hooks 1 arm around you, then pounds you with fist and knee over and over, suffer 2 face down damage, and we can negate this with strength. So that's 4, but someone's attacking me, so 5. And, oh dear, dazed. Am I still dazed? Oh dear. I've cheated a little bit there then. I do apologise, I did say about the break, but I shouldn't have been using clue tokens. I think I used one in the fight. I probably should have used the reroll, which might not have been successful. So, 3 there to negate all of that damage. I'm not going to become dazed. Then Vanderbilt is going to attack me. He disappears into the shadows. There is little time to react as you are ambushed. We need to do an agility check with 2 successes here. And we are okay. If you pass, your foe reappears just behind you, but you manage to dodge. Then the deep one. He is going to stay with the nearest investigator. The deep one is poised for attack, and in one inhuman motion, it clamps down on your arm with razor-sharp teeth. So for 2 face-down damage and negate with strength. So we roll an additional 1 because someone is attacking me. And we negate that. And the purple deep one attacks the nearest investigator. The creature's webbed fingers grip a heavy chunk of bone-pale coral, which it lifts above its head and swings directly at you. So for 2 damage, strength +1 negates, so we get to roll 6 here. And we've negated it anyway, but why not roll another one? There we go. Crazy negation. So we actually managed quite well in that. So Wendy is okay because she is through a door. She is not going to have to face a horror check. I'm going to have to face one against a deep one. And I've just remembered I didn't do any fire against anybody but the cultist. I'll do that in a second. A thick fishy aroma fills the air as the deep one exhales hideous fumes. So Will with 2 successes. So 4 dice. And that's okay. That's 2 successes there. And I don't become dazed. And that's it for the Mythos phase. So I'm not dazed anymore. Okay. So while I'm thinking about it, let's give Vanderbilt... This deep one shouldn't have even attacked, so it's good that I dodged the attack because he should have died if I'd remembered to put the fire on. So hopefully they're all going to die. The cultist and the deep one are going to die next turn anyway, and Vanderbilt is the only guy left. So let's do Wendy first, because she could end this, right? So Wendy is going to move 1, 2... And then her second action is going to be interact with this. She has the ritual components. Or maybe we should, before we do that, let's try and get William to evade all of this. So he's going to move. He needs to do an evade check against the priest. And he needs to swing. He's got 4 strength, so let's roll that. He needs 2 successes. And he is going to use his clue token absolutely to escape to there. And then he'll use his second action to move there. And then Wendy is going to use her first action to go there. Her second action is going to be to activate this. The mansion's front door is just in front of you. The investigation is complete if an investigator escapes the mansion with the ritual components unique item. Investigators win the game when the investigation is complete. You can escape only if you have this item. Escape. And here we are. You throw open the door and flee into the night, carrying the proof of Vanderbilt's heinous crimes with you. The investigation is complete. Each investigator wins the game unless an effect specifies otherwise. And Wendy's insanity says that she needs 2 unique pieces of evidence, and she has the incriminating evidence, the grotesque stone, and the ritual components. So we have won this adventure, and I am surprised when I took that break, I was thinking, You know, it's annoying that the batteries run out because I'm about to die. But luckily, the evade rolls happen quite nicely. So here we go again. The app again wasn't quite loud enough, so you burst through the front door of the mansion and run for your vehicle, desperately clutching the components from the ritual site. Incontrovertible evidence of the cult and proof of their connection to the disappearances. Your vehicle sputters and slides as you accelerate down the uneven drive. If you can make it to the police department alive, the cult will surely be destroyed. You smash through the gates at the end of the drive and careen out into the road, leaving the Vanderbilt estate far behind you. The end. And there we go. And I like that. I just managed to get William to the door as well, so we can assume that he escaped rather than just leaving him in the middle of this fire and brimstone here. And if we ever got to the next Mythos phase, these were about to die from fire, and hopefully we could have taken the priest himself out, but he is just in here. His ritual's been destroyed, and his mansion is about to burn down. And that is it for Mansions of Madness, the first scenario. And I hope you enjoyed that. If you'd like to hear what I think about the game, it's going to be first impressions rather than a kind of review, because I have only played this first scenario so far. I've been expressly forbidden from playing the other scenarios when Rachel isn't here. So I am going to do some first impressions in another video, but I think you can see from this playthrough that if you're at all interested in this kind of game, this was very interesting and very exciting. So otherwise, I'll just leave you there. So bye everyone.